The Ides of March, 44 BCE, dawns in Rome under a sky heavy with portent. The bustling streets are filled with citizens going about their daily routines. Yet there is an undercurrent of tension. Whispers of discontent against Julius Caesar, the man who has risen to the pinnacle of power, swirl among the populace. He has declared himself Dictator Perpetuo, a title that has alarmed many and inspired conspiracy among the elite. As the sun rises higher, casting long shadows, the city seems to hold its breath. In the grand home of Julius Caesar, he awakens to the sound of bustling servants preparing for the day. His wife Calpurnia stirs beside him, her brow furrowed with worry. The night before, she had experienced vivid, disturbing dreams, a vision of Caesar's statue pouring blood and warnings that the gods were displeased. When she shares her fears with him, urging him to stay home, her voice trembles with desperation. Yet Caesar, ever the confident leader, dismisses her concerns with bravado. What can be avoided whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? He retorts, brushing off her pleas. He dresses in his iconic white toga, a symbol of Roman power and authority, and prepares to leave for the Senate. As he steps outside, the streets are alive with activity, but an eerie quiet seems to follow him. Citizens greet him with mixed feelings, some with admiration, others with resentment. The day progresses, and as he approaches the theater of Pompey, where the Senate is due to convene, he is oblivious to the conspiratorial glances exchanged among the senators. The Senate, a formidable assembly of Rome's most powerful men, is buzzing with anticipation. Among them are the conspirators, Brutus, Cassius, and Casca, whose resentment has coalesced into a plot against Caesar. They stand gathered, their faces a mix of resolve and anxiety, each knowing the gravity of their intentions. They have decided that the only way to save the Republic from what they perceive as a tyrant's rule is to assassinate Caesar, a man they once considered a friend. As Caesar enters the Senate chamber, he is met with a facade of respect and camaraderie. The senators surround him, their faces betraying none of the tumultuous emotions roiling within. He strides confidently, a man cloaked in authority, seemingly unaware of the danger that encroaches upon him. His presence commands attention, and the room quiets as he prepares to address the assembly. His voice, strong and clear, rings through the chamber, echoing off the marble walls. Suddenly, Tullius Cimber moves forward, feigning a request for the release of his brother, who has been exiled. As Caesar responds with indifference, Cimber makes his move. He pulls on Caesar's toga, a signal to the conspirators that the moment has come. The atmosphere shifts. The tension is palpable, a taut string ready to snap. Before Caesar can fully comprehend the unfolding betrayal, Casca lunges forward, thrusting a dagger into Caesar's neck. The blow is swift, and a gasp escapes the dictator's lips. Shock spreads across his face as he realizes he is under attack. The senators, emboldened by the first strike, converge on him, each one brandishing their weapons. The chamber erupts into chaos, a violent storm of betrayal and blood. "Es-tu brute?" Caesar utters, his voice a mix of disbelief and heartbreak as he turns to see Brutus, the friend he trusted most, among his attackers. In that moment, the weight of betrayal pierces deeper than any dagger. The betrayal from Brutus, whom he regarded as a son, shatters the last remnants of his confidence. The senators continue their assault, each dagger finding its mark. Blood begins to seep from multiple wounds, staining the white toga that had once been a symbol of power. The sight is harrowing. Caesar, once a towering figure of might, now reduced to a tragic silhouette on the cold marble floor of the Senate. He struggles momentarily, trying to fend off his assailants, but the sheer number of them overwhelms him. The senators, their faces alight with a mixture of triumph and horror, continue their grim work. As he falls to the ground, the life draining from him, a heavy silence descends upon the chamber. The only sound that echoes is the soft thud of his body hitting the floor, followed by the hushed whispers of the conspirators grappling with the enormity of their actions. The blood pools around him, a stark contrast to the pristine marble, marking the end of an era. Brutus, still standing nearby, gazes down at the fallen leader, his expression a tumult of emotions as he grapples with the weight of his actions. He had once admired Caesar, seeing in him a man of exceptional capabilities, yet he feared the concentration of power in one individual. Brutus believed he acted for the greater good of the Republic. But now, witnessing the lifeless body of his friend, he feels a profound sense of loss. The cheers of freedom that he had envisioned now feel hollow against the backdrop of such violence. Around him, the other conspirators begin to murmur, some exchanging glances that mix triumph and dread. They had united against a common enemy, but now they are left with the chilling aftermath of their decision. The Senate chamber, once a place for debate and governance, is transformed into a scene of treachery and bloodshed. As the senators step back, the reality of what they have done sinks in. They had envisioned a Rome freed from tyranny, yet they have unleashed chaos. Panic begins to spread through the ranks. Some senators are torn between loyalty to Caesar and fear of the consequences of their actions. The political landscape of Rome shifts dramatically. The assassination has shattered the fragile balance of power. Outside the Senate, the streets of Rome are soon abuzz with rumors of Caesar's death. News travels rapidly, igniting a firestorm of emotions among the citizens. Some mourn the loss of their leader, who had brought stability and reforms to the Republic. Others, however, feel a sense of vindication, believing that they have been freed from the shackles of tyranny. The city is on the brink of turmoil as factions begin to form, each side grappling with the implications of the event. In the immediate aftermath, Brutus, Cassius, and the other conspirators find themselves in a precarious position. They gather to discuss their next steps, the weight of their actions looming heavily over them. Some argue that they should take control of the city, while others fear the wrath of Caesar's loyalists. Brutus, with a heavy heart, tries to advocate for reconciliation, believing that the Republic can still be salvaged. But his voice is drowned out by the fervor of revenge and fear that has taken hold of the conspirators. As night falls, the streets of Rome are filled with unrest. Crowds gather outside the Forum, where the news of Caesar's assassination has spurred both grief and outrage. The people who once celebrated Caesar now find themselves divided. Loyalists gather, mourning the loss of their leader, while others seek to hold the conspirators accountable for the bloodshed. The tension in the air is electric, and it becomes clear that the assassination has only sown the seeds of further conflict. In the days that follow, Rome is engulfed in chaos. Caesar's supporters, led by Mark Antony and Octavian, rally against the conspirators. Antony, a close ally of Caesar, delivers a stirring speech at Caesar's funeral. Turning the tide of public opinion, he unveils Caesar's will, revealing that he had left money and public parks to the citizens of Rome, further inciting the crowd's fury against Brutus and the other assassins. The loyalists, fueled by grief and anger, march against the conspirators, demanding justice for the fallen leader. Brutus and Cassius, realizing the gravity of their misjudgment, flee Rome. They understand that their lives are now in danger. The city they once called home has become a battleground for loyalty and revenge, a stark contrast to the ideals of the Republic they sought to protect. Their escape is fraught with tension, and the knowledge that they have unleashed a dark tide upon Rome weighs heavily on their shoulders. The political landscape of Rome is irrevocably altered. The assassination of Julius Caesar has ignited a series of events that will lead to civil war. The Republic, once thought to be the pinnacle of Roman governance, begins to unravel, giving way to a struggle for power. The seeds of ambition, betrayal, and bloodshed that were sown on the Ides of March will ultimately lead to the rise of Octavian, who will become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. The repercussions of that fateful day will echo throughout history. The ideals of the Republic will be challenged and transformed as the memory of Caesar becomes enshrined in both reverence and infamy. The phrase "et tu, Brute," will resonate through time, symbolizing the betrayal of trust and the complex nature of power. As the dust settles on the tumultuous events of the Ides of March, the legacy of Julius Caesar endures. His life and death become subjects of discussion, analysis, and reflection, shaping the very fabric of Roman history and beyond. The ambitions that drove him, the friendships he forged, and the betrayals that led to his downfall create a narrative that continues to fascinate and haunt future generations.